Hey, I see you.
Hello.
All right, I'm going to try to climb in here and see what's going on. I'm trying to frame up myself as well. Hi, everybody. We are live here at the Meta Center in St. Petersburg. My name is Joran.
I'm Jen.
And good morning and happy Friday.
Yay.
Yay, it's Friday. So we are live on the Meta Center page, and I am trying to pull this up right now so that we can see. Here we go.
Yay.
Any questions that you have? Oh, and I gotta mute this so that, okay, there we go. Because we've got like our friendly 30-second delay. Okay, here we are. Together, let's see how we look in the shot together. Pretty good. It's livable.
Sure.
Okay. So I would like to start by saying thank you to everybody. And if you're watching, please leave a comment. Let us know you're watching. We hope to take some questions from people too this morning about whatever. Like Jen and I are rarely on camera together. I'd probably say most of you watching this, it's also rare for you to catch us in the same room. So if there's, just because we're so busy and we're doing different things. So, and I am going to square this up just to see if I can even that. It's not an ego thing, it's a composition thing. I want to make sure it's like...
More Joran.
It's just, It's a little better. Okay, so I just want everybody who's watching this morning to take advantage of that. And if there's anything you've ever wanted to ask either of us or both of us, am I opening a... Are we going down a slippery slope? Then, now's the time. But more importantly, we want to hear from you. We want you to comment if you're watching and let us know you're watching. And, if you've been to the Meta Center, say hello and maybe tell us in the comments what your favorite event has been. Or, we just celebrated a year. We've been open just over a year. We opened in October of 2016, right? So just over a year, and a lot of magical things have happened. We pride ourselves on offering meditation and mindfulness classes, and that quickly expanded into offering other events as well. And we've been really lucky to have a really great tribe of teachers and healers and practitioners attracted to this space and want to call this space their home and want to practice in this space and teach here. And so we want to hear from you all. If you're watching this morning and have been here for something, we want to hear about your experiences, and as well as if you have any questions for us personally, or if you want to just say hi. The thing about a live stream is Jen and I are sitting. It's hard enough to get Jen on camera anyway, because she's not the most comfortable talking to a camera. So it really helps to know that when we're staring into this little black circle, that there's a friend on the other side of that. Like that there's people out there watching and listening and that we're connecting with. So it's really cool to have your comments. So just say hi, say good morning. If you have a question, great. If not, just comment, maybe what you're doing. Say, hey, I'm at work and I'm watching you guys. Hello, whatever. Hopefully you're not watching while you're driving. That'd be bad. Pull over if you're driving. Hey, Brooke says hi. Good morning, Brooke. Brooke Schaefer's watching. Great to hear from you. Good morning, and I hope your day's going amazing. We wanted to say thank you to everyone who's ever been in the Meta Center this year. And we really literally couldn't have done what we've done this year without you, from the people who've wanted to teach to the people who've decided to explore, and they see the name and they want to adventure over to the west side of St. Pete and see what this Meta Center is all about, and have been in the room for some of the things that we've offered. Just a huge thank you to you all. We've got a mailing list of about 400 people within a year's time. I think that's pretty great. And we are continuing to tell you guys what's going on, and listen to you guys and respond and see what you guys want to see happening in the space. And as people want to offer their own classes, we want to accommodate that as well. So it's really become a really cool community for people to teach and learn and seek and improve themselves and study and just come and read silently or drink some tea or meditate or whatever it is they need to do. Providing some sacred space for people in a city that, well, I guess is growing and scaling pretty quickly. And sacred space is necessary, as we're not going to churches or temples so often anymore. Hopefully we're going out into nature, or we're finding space in our own home to create that sacred environment. And we hope that the Meta Center becomes one of those spaces, right? That one of those destinations where you go to get grounded and get centered. That's our goal. That's our mission. Dawn Levasseur just commented. She said, went to night with the Mystics last night and look forward to coming in for more. Thank you so much, Dawn. Really great to hear from you, and we hope you enjoyed last night. So we are, let's see. So Jennifer and I guess to give some more context, are the owners of the Meta Center, right? Well, do you want to talk? I mean, I guess I've given my perspective on what the Meta Center is. It might not be what your perspective is. What do you think the Meta Center is, and how do you explain it to people?
Well, everything you said is I'm in agreement with, and I think represents it well. I would just say, in addition to the sacred space and the cool events and the vibe that's kind of happening here, which is pretty special, the thing that really made me want to open a place, a brick and mortar. Joran and I have been running businesses virtually, home-based businesses, one-to-one person business with our coaching and my massage and other services like that for quite some time. But what made us really want to take on some overhead and open a space was to help build community and to build a tribe. And to make the space accessible to those of you out in the world who are just doing such positive work that is important. So for me, that was a big draw. That was a big motivator to make that leap into having a physical business that we could invite people into to help build community.
Yeah, agree with that. Jennifer and I want to remind, and Jim says, good morning, Jim, thanks for watching. Give Riker a big kiss on the face from us. We're also taking questions this morning, so if you guys want to leave a comment or a question on the stream, please do. We like to hear from you guys and hear who's watching and hear what you have to say. Jen and I have been together, we just did the math last night. We've been together in a relationship for... It'll
be 19 years in September.
For just under 19 years. Mm-hmm. And we've been married for...
It'll be 15 years.
15 of those. Okay. So we've been married for 15 years and together for almost 20 years. That's crazy.
It is.
20 years, man.
Yeah.
20 years, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
Wow. So, Brooke says, I remember the night you met. Brooke, I remember that night too. I am really glad that you were there and are watching that, watching us this morning. That's really cool. Brooke, what do you remember about that night? I'd like to hear from you in the comments about what you remember from that night. I remember being at Club Moore, and we were playing. The Gita was playing, performing, and Jen was there. And I was friends with Jen's mom, actually. If you don't know Denise O'Dunn, who is the owner of Balance and Bliss Ayurvedic Center over in Tampa and the Florida Ayurvedic Academy. That's Jen's mom. Mm-hmm. And I was friends with Denise before I knew Jen, and Denise brought Jen out to a show, and we met that way. And almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so crazy. So we've been together for a long time, and I would say that our relationship has changed. You know, it's had its ups and downs. It's gotten better. It's deepened. We've. How would you explain? How would you describe our near 20-year relationship together?
You know, I think it might surprise people, some people anyways, to know that it hasn't always been, you know, just easy and certain all the time. You know, that we've definitely been through a lot of growth, and within that challenge, where we've had to make choices, you know, choices to be patient with one another, choices to grow in ways that maybe we weren't ready for, and I think, you know, choices to, I don't know, one thing that just comes to mind, and I know it's something that came up in a few times now in some workshops and things that we've done together, is we've made choices to turn into one another instead of away. Mm-hmm. And
turn toward,
exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, through all of that, though, has become incredible opportunities to grow as people, and to learn to love in a larger capacity.
What she said. Yeah. It's been probably Jen's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I really, really don't, I can't imagine. Like, I can imagine, but it doesn't make me feel good. When I think about, like, who I would be if the planets hadn't lined up just the way they did, and she and I hadn't ended up together, and she hadn't come into my space and cleaned it up and reorganized and redecorated and reoriented me and gave me a beacon and a compass, and you know, just provided loving energy and compassionate and, you know, forgiving and open and vulnerable and trusting energy towards me, but also to gently hold me as I moved into and through the fear of becoming a father, and I didn't know if I wanted kids, and I did, but I was scared, and, you know, it's like, we're going to try, and no, we're not going to try, and is it time to try, and no, we're going to wait another year, and that, you know, like, that thing that happens in relationships when you know in your heart you want to take the next step, but you're just afraid, you know. She never pressured or made me feel that I was wrong or that I was withholding, or that she just knew and trusted and had faith that I would, like she said, turn toward her and come to the table when I was ready, and I did. Mm-hmm. I was, and I did. So Okay, so Brooke says, I was sitting next to Denise at the bar. I remember you meeting Jen and then chatting with her between sets, and at some point during the evening we all could tell that as far as you were concerned, no one else was in the room.
Aww.
You were Twitter-pated.
Yes.
Yeah, I was Twitter-pated. I was Twitter-pated. Oh, Brooke, I'm so glad you're watching this morning. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I remember that moment too. Okay, so we are here live. Jennifer and I are here live at the Meta Center. We want to hear from you guys that are tuning in. Please leave your comments or questions in the stream. We happen to be talking about the moment we met and the fact that we have been together for almost 20 years and married for 15 of those. And we're just kind of reliving some really sweet memories now. So, I don't know. Anything else you want to add to that?
Well, it was nice hearing you say good things about me and how, you've grown and how much, I mean to you. That's really sweet to hear. So I'll just kind of, return that by saying that having Joran in my life has been really, really amazing, because prior to knowing you, I did not know how well I could be treated. As you know, and as some of you who are close to me know, that I was in an abusive relationship before, an abusive marriage, in fact, of 7 years before I met Joran, and I, from a very young age, had accepted being treated very poorly, and also dealing with living with an addict and somebody with a lot of mental health issues, and my life was just not a fun thing. And Joran came into my life, and with one look, and it's what happened there at Club Moore that night, showed me with his eyes what it meant to be adored. And luckily I was ready for that, because I think some people aren't when you've not been treated well. You can be scared of what that means for you to trust in somebody. And I did, and we did, and we're still here.
We are still here. Oh. Got me, baby. Got me. Danielle, Annalise has joined. Danielle has joined. Kirsten has joined. Good morning.
And this is it, and this is why, okay? Because it's that look, but this is where I was kind of starting to go, is that it is that men can be emotionally available, and it's that. It's not being afraid to shed a tear and to listen and to admit some vulnerability and fear and all of it that comes with love when you're truly emotionally there, and you are not afraid to do that.
Well, I think, and not to go off on a tangent, but I think that there's a direct emotional connection between love and courage. I think that they're parts of the same thing. Like I don't think the opposite of love, and you've heard me say this before, but I don't think the opposite of love is hate. I think the opposite of love is fear.
Yes.
I think the opposite of that impulse is to close yourself and to recoil and to contract, as opposed to open and unfold and push into, right? So those are the kind of the drives for me, and it doesn't feel good to recoil. It doesn't feel good to contract. So I think that even in the evolutionary impulse, right? Not to get too out there, but that's what we do, is we push into and we lean into and we unfold and we, that's how we clear those hurdles and make, overcome those obstacles, because we're willing to literally give all of the momentum of not only our body but our mindset and our physiology and all of that momentum into moving into whatever's next, right? Whatever shape, whatever version of yourself is next. So if that means shifting from that egocentric stage into the, that coupled kind of familial stage where you've got care and compassion and concern for another person, and that's what that means, and you lose friends along the way. You lose, when you decide to get married, you lose half your friends, right? Probably more than that, you lose a lot of your network and your people that wanted to party and people that whatever, that didn't want to settle down and, that were playing the field. And then when you choose to have kids, you lose half of your network that, that wanted to continue smoking or drinking or whatever it is that, that you're moving into a lifestyle that isn't aligned with that, and you lose half of them all over again. And, in my case, then you start a friggin' church, and then then it was more than half. Then it was like 90%. You lose 90% of your friends, and you find out who your real friends are. And I'm kidding. I love everybody that doesn't come to your real church. But you know what I mean? Like, you move into these new stages, whether it's spiritually or, your career or with your kids or whatever it is. And I mean, that takes courage. I'm not trying to pat my own back. Whoever is making those changes and consciously transforming themselves, that takes courage, right? But it also takes devotion. It takes a love of the future version of yourself and compassion to such a degree that you want to step inside that new version of yourself, that you want to put that new skin on. That is that new you, right? So that takes loving your future self so much that you want to crawl inside it, And to me, that's what that impulse is, that drive toward love or courage. So anyway, Jim says, you guys are some of my favorite people and are a great example of love and friendship for people. Keep being you. Thanks. And Annalise says, love you guys. We love you too. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Dawn says, holding space for your partner as they grow and change is the most loving and compassionate thing that you can do. We want to continue to hear from you guys this morning. Please leave your comments or questions in the comments below the video. And we are talking about love this morning. I suppose we should talk about why we're talking about love, right?
Do we need a reason?
I guess we don't need a reason. All right, okay, so here's the thing. I'm just going to plug it real quick and then we're going to move on. We've got an event coming up. Saturday, February 17th. It's called Love the Art of Relationship, and we're doing it here at the Meta Center. Now, this is the cool thing, is that Jen and I don't ever teach together, right? Except for once a year at this event. It's called Love the Art of Relationship, and it's kind of got an interesting, we were talking about it last night, and it's got an interesting history. This will be the 4th year, and the first year, I didn't teach. I just produced it and helped promote it. It was at Bar Central, and we had, and Jen presented on self-image, and Catherine Robinson did a loving kindness meditation, and Alina did a partnered yoga. Yeah, like couples, not couples, but partnered yoga, stretching and movement. And then we also had my friend John, who is a relationship counselor, come and talk about. Man, he talked about a lot. There was he talked about sex and love and attraction and all kinds of things. But it's a combination of embodiment exercises and talking about what it means to be in relationship. And the very important thing to remember about this love workshop that we do once a year around Valentine's Day is that it's not a couples workshop. It's not, you don't have to be a couple or in a relationship to participate or to enjoy or to appreciate it or to learn something. It's just about being in relationship. So whether you're in relationship now or not with someone else, you're still in relationship to yourself, you're in relationship to your family, you're in relationship to your coworkers. And I think that the attitude you bring to any relationship is going to be what you work on when you work on being in a relationship with someone. So, am I wrong about that? Like,
No, well, that's right.
So we like to just talk about, the other, talking about being with another. That could be your romantic partner, it could be whoever, but we work on that kind of dimension of the self, that what I call the we space, right? In integral speak, it's the we, that dimension that is all about relationship and connecting to other people. It's kind of the interior dimension of the group, right? It's that space that is inhabited by the internal or energetic or spiritual connections that happen between people. And so that's what at least I like to focus on at this specific event once a year, because then you can take that, whatever it is you learn or have insights or breakthroughs around or any kind of tools or practices you get from this event, you can take those into traffic, or your job site or wherever it is and start to apply them. You can also apply them with your partner or with your children or your family or whoever. It's about being in relationship to other people. So,
Or in your process of attracting a partner.
Or in your process of, well, what do you mean by that?
Just that, if you are in a place in your life where you are looking for a partner, you're looking for intimate relationship love, that if you can work on yourself and get yourself strong and centered and clear and in a loving, attracting love mindset, that you can attract a quality partner that will be hopefully your mate, your life mate.
Yeah.
Which is much more possible, I think, when you do things like this, when when you take workshops like the one that we're offering. It's a type of thing that you could do to put yourself in a more magnetic space for the kind of love that you deserve.
Yeah. So we want to hear from you all. Sarah just joined. Hey, Sarah. Good morning. And we want to hear from you if you have questions for us, whether it's about the Meta Center, like we were discussing earlier, or whether it's the offerings here, or whether it's about us and our relationship that we spent a lot of time talking about this morning, and that was a really cool kind of unexpected. I didn't expect for us to sit on camera and talk about our marriage, but that was cool. I think that was... I didn't expect to cry this morning. Did not wake up saying to myself, I'm going to cry on camera for the world to see. I did not say that, but I am really glad I did. So we want to hear from you in the comments, and leave us, just say hello if you're watching, and if you have any questions, please put them there. We're talking about this workshop that we're coming up on next week, Saturday the 17th. We're actually about halfway full, right?
We have 7 spots left.
Okay, so 7 spots left. I think there's 12 total. So almost halfway full. And so we want you in the room for it. You don't have to come with a partner. Just come with someone you love. You could come with a family member. You could come by yourself. Doesn't matter. We're going to learn about relationship. We're going to learn about how to be in relationship with yourself and with other people. And we are going to talk about some tools and practices and some teachings that you can apply toward romantic relationships as well. So the other thing we haven't mentioned yet is our guest speaker. So we have had, like I said, this is the 4th year we're doing it. First year was you and Alina and Catherine and John. The second year we moved it to classical medicine over on 4th Street, and we had, then I joined the party, right? So it was you and me, and it was Matt Jackson talked about desire and attachment through the lens of Taoism, which was really cool, because we were just kind of sitting up in the studio at classical medicine, and it just kind of turned into this really intimate kind of spiritual teaching kind of Dharma talk kind of vibe, and it was really neat. And Monica Burton, who's a licensed mental health counselor and I think a marriage and family therapist. And she talked about family and romantic love, and that was really cool. And we were like, wow, all right, like we're seeing kind of what this event could be, you know, like a kind of daytime, you know, symposium of speakers and teachers about relationship, but it was like half a day. It was 4 hours maybe, I think.
Well, we didn't have
like the first one was 3, and then we're like, oh, we need to make it a little longer. We're going to add another speaker. We'll make it 4 hours.
Yeah.
But it's still like it went by that fast. Like each speaker had 45 minutes, you know, and that's like not enough time. So last year, year 3, was the first year that we made it an all-day event, right? And so then it was you and me and Alina came back. And she did, I think it was partnered movement again.
She did some partnered movements. She did some aromatherapy and self-massage.
That's right. That's right. And we did it here at the Meta Center, which was exciting because we had just opened the space a couple months before, and we were like, oh, we have a space now to do this workshop in. And so that was cool. And we provided lunch for everybody. And now year 4. It's going to be a little longer even than it was last year. It's going to go from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. It's a half hour longer because we've built in time to reflect and absorb and take a break and stretch your legs and think about what you just heard, or really internalize the partnered kind of interactive experience that we just did together. And I feel like the years past we just kind of like rushed through, like, okay, here's a presentation, here's a talk, here's a meditation, here's an exercise, and then okay, bye guys, and it was just out the door. And we're getting better at building in that time for people, for this experience in the room with a group of people to be really meaningful, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I feel like it's moving more and more towards a retreat vibe.
Right,
you know, rather than, you know, a panel of speakers, or, you know, it's becoming an experience.
Yeah. So our guest teacher this year is Rebecca Thompson, right? Rebecca Thompson Hitt. She's got 3 names. She's one of those, like me, with 3 names. Oh, Hitt Thompson. Yeah, I think so. Sorry, it's Rebecca Hitt Thompson. Well, there's Thompson and Hitt at the end of her name, but you can call her Rebecca when you meet her. And she is, what is her background? She's got a background in therapy, but through parenting. She's the founder and president of something called the Conscious Parenting Project. And so she's all about having healthy family relationships. And she has told us that what she is going to do is, well, I don't want to give too much away, because I haven't told you what we're going to do yet. She's going to do something really cool, so that people can be, let me put it this way, be seen and heard in their relationships in a very healthy way. That's what she's going to do, and it's going to be very exciting. What are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
We're going to have crafty time with Jen.
Crafts!
One thing that you'll find about me is that I like to do activities through experiences, and that I like to create things. I'm a visual learner myself, and to me, having something like a takeaway from a workshop is always important. I love it when I can leave a workshop with something that I can like hang in my office as a reminder. And that can look a lot of different ways, of course. But in this situation, we're actually going to be creating a mini vision board based around what does your life look like when you focus it on love. Like, what does your life, when you focus on love, what does your life look like in the areas of, maybe it's intimate relationships, maybe it's family relationships, friends, community, career, and then of course the self. Anytime that I present, I'm usually putting an element of self-care, self-love into the picture. So yeah, we're gonna do a short, smaller version of a vision board, but through the lens of love.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I had a vision board one time, and like literally everything on it came true. Like it was like books, and it was a guy on stage with a spotlight. And like that year, I published my first book, and I was playing music again. It was like crazy. Like I manifested everything that was on that vision board. So about love, though, right? So with love in the middle.
Yes.
Right, love at the center. What does our life look like? There's, I forget, it was Leo Biscaglia or Eric Maisel that said, "I affirm the centrality of love." Mm-hmm. Right. So if we affirm the centrality of love,
yes,
what does our life look like?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Taking your questions. Please leave a comment. Say hello. Ask a question. Just say that you're watching. Let us maybe know what you're doing this morning. And we want to hear from you, and maybe hear some of your experiences that you've had here at the Meta Center. Or if you want to come to the Meta Center for something, maybe let us know what you're looking forward to. If you've taken a look at our calendar and see all the amazing stuff we've got coming up. We've got 29 events in February, and there's 28 days in the month. So wow. For the first time ever, we've got more events than there are days in the month. So for love, which is happening on February 17th, I am doing a little talk about integral relationships. So that is that we space thing that we were talking about earlier, and what that dimension of our experience looks and feels and hears and sounds and tastes like when we are bringing all the healthy versions of ourself and ourself at the most developed level of all the lines and intelligence that we have in our bodies, that when we are bringing all of that into our relationships, what that can look like. So once you've put love in the middle, right, then how do you bring all of yourself to that loving relationship? And then we're going to do an exercise called the affinity process, and we're going to partner up and we're going to talk to people. And it's something you can use with strangers. I might even, if people come in a couple pairs, we might even separate them and have them talk to strangers and develop new relationships. I don't know, whatever, we'll talk about that. But developing and deepening relationships with people, and that's something you can do at work. Now that's something, that we've used in interfaith dialogue, so that people who we know believe differently, think differently, value differently than we do. This is a real easy process to just pull out, and in 15 minutes you can have really civil and compassionate relationships with somebody about things you have in common. So we're going to do that, and then just before or after that we're going to do lunch. And what's lunch this year?
I'll be making lunch. I'll probably it'll be vegan or vegetarian with vegan option, soup and salad, but a hearty soup and salad, and there'll be snacks and chocolate and yummies.
Yay.
You will not go hungry.
Yes, you will not leave hungry. You will not leave without an artifact in your hand that you can hang on your refrigerator or your cubicle wall to remind you and to reaffirm what you learned. That space that you stepped into, that new kind of self or skin that avatar that you put on, right? You can slip that back on just by looking and maybe meditating back on the experience through the board or the artifact that you design. So after lunch or after that is Rebecca, and Rebecca is going to. I think we mentioned earlier, it's going to be another paired exercise, but it's going to be about bridging, and it's going to be about being seen and heard in your relationships. So I have a feeling, knowing that Rebecca is Rebecca, and she's going to take, I think, what we do in the beginning of the day and just go deeper with it. She's going to drive it home, and I think it's going to be really special. And
Can I just mention one thing about Rebecca?
Yes.
Anytime I've heard Rebecca speak, and I'm imagining that this is going to be no different, she tends to bring up the topic of boundaries. And if any of you out there feel that you struggle with boundaries in your life, boundaries with other people, even boundaries within yourself, but mostly with other people, you feel like maybe your children, there's boundary issues, your partner, there's boundary issues, coworkers, there's boundary issues. Rebecca is somebody you want to know and talk to and learn from, because she is got a very clear process of setting healthy boundaries in relationships, and I'm sure that will come up.
Yeah, cool. That's good to know. Absolutely. And then hey Dawn, I see your question. You wanted me to talk a little bit about Integral Church. I can do that right after this. After Rebecca's portion, I think we're going to have a little guided meditation at the end, just to kind of really stitch the whole experience up for people. And I think Jen and I will maybe co-lead that, or I don't know if we've gotten that far yet.
We co-led it last year and it was nice.
Okay, so we'll do some version of that
what
again.
I'm feeling that we should do this year? It's just like a spontaneous thought.
Yes.
We've got a lot of things here, pillows, blankets, things like that, but I would love to encourage everybody to bring items that would help them get into a nice deep relaxation. So bring a favorite blanket, bring a pillow, so that we can have a few more props for more of a restorative meditation. Really getting into that comfy space. More of
what are those, like the blanket or the teddy bear?
Blanket, pillows, bolsters, anything.
Safety item or a comfort item.
Like an eye pillow, things that can help you cocoon and kind of go in.
Cool.
We'll put that on the packing list.
Okay, love it. Okay, so if any of this sounds at all interesting to you, if you want to be in the room with Jennifer and me and Rebecca for this event called Love, the Art of Relationship on Saturday, February 17th, here at the Meta Center from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., lunch provided, just go to the website, go to the events tab here on the page and scroll down and you'll see the event, and you got to register in advance. So do that. I think there's a discount for couples, and that is...
Or any pair, 2 tickets.
Or any pair, I should say. It's a discount on 2 tickets, right? The discount code is LOVE2TIX, LOVE2TIX. So go to the page. I can also, if you're online, you want to go to joranslane.com and go to classes and workshops. That's the fully built event page, and that'll take you through to registration as well. So either go to joranslane.com and click on Love, the Art of Relationship, or go to the events tab on the Meta Center Facebook page, and you can find the registration info there. Lunch is provided. It's all day. It's an amazingly deep experience around relationship, and you're going to walk away with a bunch of tools and practices and new knowledge and wisdom and things you've learned, and stories that you've heard shared and that people and participants will share with each other that are just as valuable as anything a teacher will tell you. And a belly full of food and beautiful, vision. I don't want to be too specific because it's going to be different for everybody. Vision of what your life looks like when you lead with love. All of that, if that sounds at all attractive to you.
Maybe some new friends.
And maybe some new friends thrown on top of that. Have I sold it enough? We want you in the room with us for this thing. Again, it's special. Jen and I only co-present once a year for this event. It's a really, really great day, and it's one of my favorite things that we do. And I really want you to be here with us. So if you're interested in it, please go to the website and sign up. Please do so so that we don't run out of room, because like I said, we've got 12 spots available and there's only 7 left. So we're almost, I have a feeling this week it might even sell out. So we want you in there with us, so please join us. Anything else about love?
That covers it.
Okay. So if you have any other questions and you're watching, please comment below the video. And I want to honor Dawn's question here. She says, can you talk about your church or the service that you hold there? Absolutely I can. Dawn's referring to something called Integral Church, which is something I formed 5 years ago. And we meet outside, outdoors in the park. We now meet in Riviera Bay Park, which is on 83rd Ave North and 4th Street in St. Petersburg. We meet in circles. It's interfaith, it's interspiritual. You'll find Buddhists and atheists and agnostics and Catholics and Native Americans and whoever in the circle at any given time. And it's all about having open, honest, spiritual discussion about spiritual tools and spirituality and religious practices, and the goal is to raise the level of religious literacy in our society so that we can talk to people about what they believe, our neighbors, our family, and have a really deep level of understanding and respect for why people believe these different things at the different kind of stages that they are in their life. And no one stage is better than another. And we discuss that. It's based on an integral framework, integral philosophy, integral spirituality that allows for those many spiritual perspectives and cultural perspectives. And so we honor that in those circles. There's also music, and it's sometimes there's storytelling, or there's somebody presenting a talk or a teaching. Sometimes we read different prayers from different world religions. We sometimes learn different chants, or do kirtan together, or sometimes I just sing a song on the acoustic guitar, and we close with a guided meditation. And it is just it's our effort to reinvent the way we do church in the world. The word church has been poisoned for a lot of people. People have had bad experiences, sometimes because of the patriarchy and because of the structure and the framework that it exists in. Sometimes they have gone there and not felt heard or not felt included. Maybe they've felt marginalized because of their gender or their race or their orientation or their culture or whatever. We want Integral Church to be something that is radically inclusive, that is peer-to-peer, that is just like created by the people who show up. And so we do that on the 3rd Sunday of the month out at Riviera Bay. We also do it on the 1st Thursday of the month here at the Meta Center. So, did I cover everything about Integral Church? Okay, so if you want more information about Integral Church, you go to integralchurch.org. That's INTEGRAL church.org. So you can learn more about kind of what integral is and what our version of church is, and the difference between interfaith and pluralistic and spiritual and integral, and kind of familiarize yourself with that. Or you just show up like it's a circle of people, and that's really at the root of it. That we space that we've been talking about this entire time today, it's about stepping into that with people. It's not a hierarchical, top-down, one-to-many experience like you have in most church environments. It's a very holarchical, circular, concentric, connected experience of deep sharing and storytelling and finding each other in story and experience and sharing music and poetry and everything else that happens. So if that sounds interesting or intriguing to you, I encourage you to go to integralchurch.org and learn a little more. Or just come out to one of the circles. Don't feel like you got to be able to have a conversation about, interfaith whatever. The whole point of it is that we're building, again, kind of like we're doing here at Meta, like we're just building community. We're building a community around the idea that something can be broken open and deconstructed and made into something that is a little more open source and something you can play with and bring yourself to and find other people in, and that kind of thing. It's co-created. What else? Dawn, I hope that answers your question. We're at the end of the time, so if anybody has any other questions, looks like there's a few people still watching. If there's anybody that has any more questions for Jennifer or myself, obviously it can be about whatever you want. Now's the time. Ask away. While we're waiting to see if anybody has any last minute questions, I want to thank everybody again for watching. Thank everybody again for supporting the Meta Center this year. This very first year that we've been open. It's been so exciting. It's humbling to watch all these people want to do stuff here because I know how that feels. I was looking for the perfect classroom, and the space to teach in, and that was, at least speaking for myself, that was our motivation in opening this space, was that I had a classroom and a working space that satisfied all those needs and those conditions. So it's really great to see people having similar issues and finding us and seeking us out. Is there anything you want to say to people kind of in closing, or about Meta or love or whatever?
Just, reiterating what you said, thanking everybody for joining us today, and looking forward to continuing the conversation, either on a future live Facebook event or in person in an event here. If anything sparks your curiosity, just encouraging you to come on out and say hello.
Yeah. Thanks again, you all. This has been really cool this morning to be able to just sit and drink coffee and talk to you and answer your questions. Again, love the art of relationship. Saturday, February 17th here at the Meta Center. Go to joranslane.com or the events tab on the Meta Facebook page. We will see you soon.
Love ya.
Love ya. What is this? All right. Bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye.